Namibia's magnificent colored gemstones are a sparkling treasure trove, courtesy of Mother Nature, the good earth, and infinite time. Formed over hundreds of millions of years, colored gemstones lie buried in sand and rock, awaiting discovery. This tough and demanding work is the preserve of a hardy group of small miners in the Erongo, Kunene and Karas regions, who dig in the dry earth and chisel away the rock surfaces to unearth the mineral treasure. The stones are quickly passed on to traders or gemstone shops, with a small percentage sold at roadside stalls or at the impressive crystal market on the outskirts of Usakos, en route to Swakopmund. But where does the cutting and polishing take place? What's that? The lapidary industry was once firmly held in the grip of older men, whose shops provided the link between the miners and the jewelers. Most of these have closed down over the last decade as the generations change and time rushes on. Many of Namibia's rough stones are now being exported overseas where labor is cheap.
What we've been experiencing for the last several years is that the international buyers come into the country, their real value or hard currencies in US dollars, pounds, has only increased in value coming here. They are able to outbid us on purchasing the rough stones. In reality, they're not actually paying more for the stones in real terms to them. So we cannot fight against that.
This breaks Namibia's value chain of offering 100% Namibian product and keeping each part of the gemstone process securely in the country. Several jewelry and gemstone shops like Desert Gems and Swakopmund are still cutting and polishing stones.
Now I'm going to inspect it for whatever inclusions or disparages that it might have to make sure that we get a good clean stone out of it. Having established where the flaws are, which is one over there, we'll take him out immediately. We're actually getting rid of all the errors and also shaping the stone.
They are not sufficient to fill this large gap in the value chain, and even well-known master cutters barely survive, unable to secure a reliable market for their products.
So most of the cutters and the polishers, they are lying around, it doesn't have work because, you know, the industry in the gemstone is very small, it's very little here in our country. Which means now, currently, there's about, say, I can even say there's about 100 cutters. They are only lying without having job.
So I love to cut. I take it very seriously because money is involved. If I bought this $100 today from you, roughly, finish cutting in a ring, around 2,000, depends from the color, the price goes up. To come to the end product, it must be a cut stone. I cannot put up a rough stone here. It will not bring out the beautiness of the stone. Lapidary must be there, even in diamonds. Diamonds are cut. Gemstones must also be cut to bring out the beautiness of the stone inside the ring so that it can attract anyone.
Although the need for training has been recognized on a national level, with the Caribbean Gemstone Center offering a 5-month basic training course to young Namibians, it is not enough to enable them to stand on their own, to access the expensive machinery needed, or to be employed elsewhere.
For me, I don't just want to end up here. We do have gemstones in Namibia, but the problem, we don't have the facility to work with, like machines, powders.
Now the problem again is we lack machines. There is no facility that we can use for cutting.
And I'm also praying and hoping that one day government must act on it and open a big industry whereby our students will be employed and cut and polish, and for us to stop exporting our expensive minerals outside the country, for us to cut and polish and set in the jewelry and sell to our local people and outside.
On a small scale, working to bring awareness and uplift the small mining industry of Namibia, German development agency GIZ has initiated a project called Minestones to ensure that every stage in the jewelry making process remains in Namibia. It is presently being rolled out to the curio shops in the Gondwana collection. More people begin to appreciate the beauty of setting a rough stone in jewelry, but a large market for cut stones still exists. The hope is to fill this gap by restricting the export of rough stones and by offering more extensive training with superior technology to youngsters, to safeguard our gemstones industry and to keep it proudly Namibian.